What's up guys, welcome back to the channel. We are back here in Forza Horizon 4 today, and we are going to be checking out the last new Renault that we get for this series. In fact, the last new car we get for this series at all. The 2007 Renault Clio RS197, and compared to the last couple Renaults we got here in winter, this thing is rather mundane compared to them. A little bit lower power output. In fact, we're not even cracking 200 horsepower in this thing. So definitely lacking in performance compared to the other cars. Handling's pretty on par though, especially because it does come on sport tire stock. We'll go ahead and pop this open here. We will take a quick look here at the engine. As you can see under the engine bay, it actually is a little more to look at than on the other more modern ones, which makes sense. Most modern cars, a lot of stuff's really hidden away. Even though this is a 2007, that is still 13 years ago now, and by today's standards, this style of engine bay and kind of trying to hide a lot of stuff and cover it up is rather dated by today's standards. Basically, nowadays you cannot see anything. Now, for this car, they did kind of borrow some things off of the F1 car. We'll close this back up real quick before we go into the interior. They did add the rear diffuser here in the back. The F1 car, I believe, was called the R27, if I believe, as well, if you guys are interested. The rear bumper is a little funny looking to me. And then it kind of just stops a little too abruptly. I can't put my finger on what it is. I think it might just be the way the rear glass goes straight down into the rear deck lid so abruptly, and there's no more of like a hump to the rear deck. And then, as you can see on the inside, while it's not a terrible looking car, it's definitely very dated, especially if you compare it to the modern Renault RS series cars. Very, very lacking in any kind of real accents, just a few little brushed aluminum ones, and that's about it. So that's all the engine clip I'm going to give you guys here inside of Forza Vista. It actually sounds pretty terrible in here, to be honest. It actually sounds pretty decent, I thought, out in free roam. A really aggressive sounding, like NA 4-cylinder sound, which is accurate for this car. So guys, I think that really about covers it in Forza Vista for this car. There's not really a lot to go over. I do want to say now we are going to go over customization, and we're going to drive this thing how I have it built now in a couple races. I'm not going to drive it stock because it's a really great performing car, but at the end of the day, it's really slow. It's not going to win any races. And even in its category, it falls short of things like some Vauxhalls. A lot of Hondas in this class are more powerful and quicker than it. It's just not a great car stock. So we will only be driving it upgraded, but we will go through all the customization. This is a pretty basic setup I have, like most of my other ones I've been doing on these cars. I've just built it to the top of the class it comes in. Well, actually this comes C-class, but like adding one or two things actually brings it up pretty quick. Now we will start over here as always in conversions. As the last couple Renaults have had, it's 1.6 inline power turbo rally, no real big surprise. You can do rear wheel drive or all wheel drive swaps. For aspiration conversions, we do have single turbo, positive displacement supercharger, or centrifugal supercharger. Before I forget, I will throw the turbo on it. So when we go over to the engine upgrades, I can throw all of those on there for you guys, and you can see the fully upgraded stock engine like we've been doing. And this is where it gets pretty bad. Get a good angle on this for you guys. As you can see, you could probably plow the sidewalks in wintertime with that front splitter. And the back's just the usual that you expect from hatchbacks at this point. So for tires, this thing does come on sport tire stock, which is why it does handle so well. You can do all the standard upgrades to tires, not going to go through each one. Stock, this thing comes on 215s. You can go all the way up to a 235, and for the build I'm running today, it is a 225 front and back, and the back tire you can also go up to a 235. And for track width upgrades, I am on number 2. If you want to do number 3, as you can see, as long as you're not running too much camber, I'm a -1 degree, I believe, in front, or -1.1. It does bring it just out to the wheel well. It does stick out a decent amount around the front bumper though, which kind of looks a little funny in my opinion. I'm not going to go over drivetrain upgrades. It's just the same thing every car comes with. I do have all of them on there for this build. So stock, this thing does actually have Brembo brakes on it, so it does stop fairly decently well in real life. In the game, it's not bad. I didn't drive it a whole lot stock. So this is where our stock ride height is. As you can see, I definitely dropped it quite a bit, and for a very good reason. It looks really goofy like that. Then you have sport springs, race springs, rally springs, which really bring it up. It actually would not look bad though as a rally build like that, especially with like some 1552s on it or something. And then you can get drift suspension if you want to swap this thing and do some drifting. Alright, so keep in mind here, this is not actually technically the stock weight, because this car is modded. It does have a cage in it. The cage is 81 pounds over the sport chassis upgrade, so I'm not sure what stock would be under that. But I believe from what I read online, this car is about 2,678 stock, so that's actually pretty close. I was running sport weight reduction. I just wanted to show you guys what that was, so I switched it over. And if you went all the way to race weight reduction on this thing, you can bring it down to 2,255 pounds, which is pretty crazy light actually. Alright, so as promised guys, I will go ahead and just throw every upgrade I can at this. I will show you guys on the way to all the upgrades what I have on this build. I have race exhaust already installed on it, and we are on sport cams because this is a really revvy motor. It really likes to be higher in RPMs to build power. Alright, and the final upgrade would be the oil and cooling, which brings it up to 566 horsepower and 438 foot-pounds of torque, which actually is more than the other Renaults we got last week. Both of them actually too, I believe. Not by much, but like 20-ish horsepower or so. I'd have to go back and look in the other videos to make sure. Alright, so now that we're out here in free roam, guys, I'm going to shut up here for a minute. I'll give you guys some audio clips outside and inside of the car and let you hear what it actually sounds like in free roam instead of the terrible clips it had there in Forza Vista for some reason. So as you can see there, it's not the greatest sounding car by any means, even here in Horizon, but not bad at all. It's got a very nice, throaty, aggressive 4-cylinder sound to it. Alright, so we are going to cruise over here to the Derwent Lakeside Sprint real quick, just to kind of get a feel for how this tune drives and how well it's set up. Make sure I didn't make any mistakes in the tuning. I did forget to talk about how we unlock this car. I believe I didn't mention it anyways, but if you guys are curious and haven't got it yet, you have to go in and complete the trial, which for this one you have to use a hot hatch, a standard hot hatch. So the last two new Renault hot hatches we got, you actually can't use because they are both in the super hot hatch category. It ended up taking me, I want to say probably about 45 minutes. What was that AI even doing? He was coming through my lane, like out of the field. I did live stream it earlier today. I'm recording the video later on after it. I went back and spent some time with my family and had dinner and stuff after I finished the live stream. Took me a little bit to get in a decent team though, but once I did, it was pretty straightforward to knock out. I ended up using the John Cooper Works Mini convertible to do it with actually. It's a pretty fun little car to drive, very oversteery for a front-wheel drive car, so it makes it kind of treacherous to drive. Although it is drivable, it is catchable, it's just really sketchy till you get used to it. I haven't really noticed that too much in this car. I've had a couple times where it has kind of just transferred and oversteered on me some, but nowhere near to the extent that car was. Like there was just a little bit there, but I kind of did that intentionally to get me to rotate into the corner because I needed to get around the car too. I feel like we should be able to get a pretty decent launch with how sticky of a tire this has. Okay, is this thing like way overpowered for its class or something? For being a front-wheel drive compact, it definitely does drive really well here in Horizon, which I've said that about all the newer Renaults we got, including the ones last week, but this one is on kind of another level, especially considering the tires we're on and how narrow of a tire we're on compared to those two. Not nearly the same exhilaration you get from the power and acceleration those cars have over this, but definitely an exciting, fun little car to drive, especially with the way the gearbox is set up. Say that and somehow manage to grind a gear. Yeah, it's definitely got a character of its own compared to the other new Renaults we got. It definitely feels a little bit more like the Clio from the era of the car that's in Project Cars 2. It actually might be the same era of Clio Cup car. The one in Project Cars 2 could be a little newer or a little bit older though too. I'd have to go back and double check on that, so don't quote me or anything, but it does drive very similar to it. It feels similar in power levels to stock when I was driving it. At least a little bit I did drive it stock. You know, it's not like a mind-blowing car, even upgraded in any particular way, but it's just a really great, fun little car to drive. It offers a really great driving experience, especially in the feel of the car and how connected it does feel to the road, even here in a game like Horizon. I gotta say, I was kind of coming into this video like, oh, blah, another new Renault hatchback, only this one's even slower and less special than the others. But I'm actually having a pretty good time doing this video and driving this thing. It's actually a really great little drive. It's not insanely fast or going to break any records, but it does feel very quick for its class. I gotta say, it looks really great with that paint job I put on it and those works. Alright, so it did drop us off right over here by the Lake District Sprint, so may as well just go ahead and hop into this one. This is a really fun sprint race to do. It's got a little bit of everything. It's got some really nice fast sections to it, which should be really fun to do in this car. I gotta say, the handling is top notch. I did do a little bit of tweaking to the race suspension, mostly just dropping the camber down. Like I said, I have it at either -1.1 or -1 degrees front, and same in the back. And then I did bring the front dampeners down just a little bit. I've been doing so much rally racing lately. When I was starting to load into the race there, I'm sure you guys saw it on the webcam, I was starting to reach for my handbrake when I was about to start pulling it back to be able to rev the car up. Wow, this car seems really quiet in my headphones on the inside. Thought maybe I had bumped it and accidentally turned them down. Oh my god, that was an incredible move up the inside. Like, I thought I turned them down maybe or something, but they're still at full blast. Sorry, I got really quiet there, guys. I was trying to focus on the race and trying to drive the car well. This thing just blows my mind how much grip it has for not even being on race tires. It's really crazy. I think that might be where this car like really is gonna shine, is just in the handling department, especially in these lower class races and like B and C class, because it is a monster when it comes to cornering. Wow, I can't talk. Getting real tired, guys. It's like 1:30 in the morning right now. I've still got to get this video exported, edited, then get it rendered, and then schedule the upload on YouTube so I have it up at a decent time tomorrow. So I've still got a long night ahead of me here. Nice little hill toe there. This thing sounds so good on decel when it starts popping and backfiring. Yeah, this thing definitely just kind of started to run away from him there a little bit. It's an amazing little car to drive, I gotta say. I'm honestly a lot more impressed than I thought I was going to be with this thing. Well guys, that brings us up to the end of today's video, so I will give you my final thoughts on this thing here. I gotta say, I'm blown away by the handling and just overall drivability, especially for a front wheel drive car of this thing. I've said that about the other new Renaults, but this thing's like on another level of handling compared to them. You do still have a little bit of quirky understeer if you really push this thing in super hard or just hammer the throttle and you're like really coming in power. I can imagine it'd probably be even worse if you did decide to turbocharge this thing. But outside of doing that, or just like full on chucking the car into the corner, it's a very neutral handling and driving car and doesn't really exert any negative characteristics during turning, which for something front wheel drive is pretty astonishing, even in Horizon standards. Like you saw there, even though I was kind of trail braking in, it did hook the nose in, which it should be front wheel drive trail braking in, and just grip up and turn in all of a sudden. But there was much less bucking and fighting involving the rear end, which it kind of sets this car out. Usually you have to fight with the rear end and be very vigilant of what's happening back there and be ready just to hammer the throttle so you can kind of pull the car back out of spin. Now, should you guys go out and get this thing? Well, if you have the spare time or you have a few friends you can do the trial with that are good enough, then sure, why not? It's a really cool car. It's something different to add to the collection. It fits really well in with the whole Forza Horizon Britain theme, especially if you were into like doing car meets or and stuff like that here in the game. Or if you're like me and you really like doing B-class racing, then this will be a really great car to add to your lineup. That's an amazing performer, fun to drive, sounds good. For a hot hatch, you can actually make look pretty decent. I mean, you can't really ask for more out of this style and class of car than that. So yeah, my answer is if you have the time or the means to go out and get it, definitely do it. Anyways, if you guys made it this far into the video, thank you guys for watching. I really appreciate it. If you did enjoy the video, please hit the like button down below, comment, and subscribe. It really helps the channel out, and I'll see you guys next time.